This is a presentation of the United States Australian Football League, the USAFL.
Okay, fullback. Okay. Alex C, back pocket. Okay.
Hey, boys. All right. Use your voice all day. Use your voice, okay? Swannaroos on three. 1, 2, 3. Swannaroos. Let's go, boys. 1, 2, 3, 3.
Strong in that order was fantastic.
The USAFL presents the 2024 Super Regionals. Live from the beautiful and welcoming city of Dublin, Ohio, we are at the Dairy Fields, where teams from the Eastern and Central regions have gathered to determine this year's regional championship. And we are set to go for the Nashville Kangaroos taking on the Chicago Swans.
Yeah, a couple of longtime Midwest rivals here. No love lost, I think, between these clubs over the years. But a pair of 2-0 sides. De facto championship here. It was scheduled this way in the tournament, so just by chance, these teams have both come through undefeated to this point. So we're watching a grand final right here.
And joining us on the call is Dan Sarberger. I am Patrick Machado, as we are set to go for this de facto grand final. Umpire with the ball to the sky, and we are underway.
Now we've seen Nashville kind of adjust between their first two games to different styles of play. We've had the opportunity to see them just by the luck of the draw. They ended on our field a couple times. Haven't had a look at Chicago yet, other than glances from across the park while they were on the other oval during the day. So it'll be really interesting to see how these sides match up, what they bring to this game, and we've got the history with Nashville on the day to kind of see how they adjust from previous.
Right off the jump, Chicago had some space with an empty square, and number 9 kicks the first point of the game for a minor score. Do not have numbers for Chicago, so.
Yep, again, apologies to all the grandmothers and moms and dads out there watching, hoping to get your son's name on the broadcast. We don't have them.
If Dan recognizes them, he'll be sure to call him out. I got here at 12 o'clock, so I did not meet any of these people.
What the fuck is going on?
Here's William Proctor on the near side halfback. Thumps one forward, intercepted by Chicago. Directs traffic, kicks one to half forward, takes a bounce right towards the boundary, able to keep it in for a second. I thought that was out, but we play on.
A couple of the players disagreed. You thought so as well, but not the call from the boundary, so the umpire didn't blow the whistle. Play on. Chicago linking up here on the near side wing, getting the first look at them for us for the day on some of the skills and the ability to connect through their key playmakers.
Delivers one to the top of 50, unable to stick the mark with Chicago. Running away is Nashville. Takes a bounce off that player. Chicago corrals.
Quite a bit of play in neutral zone so far. Again, sides probably feeling themselves out, each other out just a little bit here. Not going to tip it in anyone's favor. Again, the breeze is light, maybe a 1 or 2 goal breeze on the day. Chicago kicking towards the scoring end right now. I think if you're them, you'd say, okay, let's rack up some points while we're going this direction.
Boundary throw, far side half forward. Chicago won it, delivers one to the top of the square where the mark is taken. And this should be the first goal of the game.
32, a big unit there. He used his body well, made sure he created that space for the drop of the ball, and then drifted into it after he created separation from his opponent. He's going to give himself a goal-scoring chance here.
So pretty short kick on an angle, though. Kick is up. And straight through the middle.
Umpire didn't move much on that. Kick must have been pretty straight and true, even though the tough angle he gave himself. No, nothing other than to call him Al McGlashan Jr., because he sort of looks like him from here. Shout out to Al if he's listening, an old-time veteran of the Chicago Swans. Maybe Al will even take that goal in his all-time tally. Probably be happy enough with that.
So that goal brings Chicago to 1-1-7. And Nashville yet to score. And it bounces forward towards Chicago. Again, Nashville takes it out as everyone had overrun the ball. Brendan Feely turning. Here's Chicago escaping from the center of the ground. Off hands, unable to stick the mark was number 50. And good fend off, dropping the ball. The umpire will call holding the ball. The players called it well before the umpire, but the call eventually does come.
Again, apologize, we don't have the names. Number 9 here has been effective in a number of plays. Obviously one of the key playmakers with Chicago. Quite a bit of stuff's gone through him already. And then just some great individual effort with the tackle there.
Near side half forward, one more kick inside 50. As they flood the center of the ground, finds a man on a lead. Well done by number 44 to find the open man.
Al McGlashan Jr. on the lead again, number 32 there. It's obviously not his actual name, but we don't have the roster again for Chicago, so apologies. But great lead. That all created by that tackle with number 9. Nice delivery. We'll see how he does on this angle.
Sprays it across the face into the forward pocket. The Nashville player couldn't intercept, but they're able to run it away from danger and find a kick up the wing. Bouncing ball picked up by Chicago, tackle from behind. Kick was able to go away, but Nashville will control the possession. Little tap on, switching it over to the near side wing. Handball back. Receiving it is Dane Plemons. Luke Masiano gets one forward. It was touched, picked up, and they'll see it over the line.
So that number 30 that got tackled for Nashville a little earlier, Gleichert, tight end for Michigan State. He was 6'4", 265, the program roster says. So obviously a big unit, good hands. Interesting, they've used him in the ruck this game. They've had him up in full forward the last couple of games we've seen Nashville.
Hardin with the tap. Andrew Gleichardt's frame blocks the clearing kick. James Hardin with the handball over the line. We have a player down for Nashville.
That's Proctor, 11. Might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him. It didn't look like that big of a play. Might just be catching his breath here. Yeah, it looks like he got the wind knocked out of him. He's going to catch a breather here.
They'll call for a sub, but he looks fine as he's jogging off the field.
Quite a bit of possession on the day for him. Again, we've had the benefit of seeing Nashville play 2 other games just on account of their draw in here. He's been a key player. Let's hope it's not anything serious. He's been critical for Nashville.
6 minutes gone in this opening term. Chicago 1-1-7. Nashville yet to score. Boundary throw near side wing. Tap to disadvantage. Aaron Gardner runs onto it. Handball to Dane Plemons. Centering kick. Misses everybody and picked up by Chicago. Kick to clear the lines. Goes into the center of the ground. Very friendly bounce to gain some territory.
That switch of play benefited Chicago there. It wasn't necessarily intentional, the way Nashville had kind of worked the ball into the forward 50. Chicago works forward, now Nashville on the rebound.
Chicago out of defense. Finds a player just on the edge of 50. Little short ball. Takes a bounce. Good hustle by Nashville to get there. Chicago player couldn't stick the mark. And now Nashville will have a chance to go on the attack inside 50. Ball spills free. Gets a kick towards goal. That will not have the angle on it, and it goes out on the full.
Curious to see how Chicago treats this kick in. And they go near far side, near to the boundary. They're going to try to build up there.
2-on-1 contest. Nashville player ripped from behind.
Let's see if we get a tackle or a sling tackle on that.
That's certainly what it looked like, and it will be a free kick to Nashville.
So a tackle applied, but it was a sling tackle. No regard for the tackled player's safety in that. Flinging him around like a rag doll is against the rules.
Kickoff hands. Players go to ground. Chicago able to clear the contest up the far side wing. Takes a bounce and over the line.
So Pat, we talking about that tackle. Correct form in something like that is wrapping a player up and dropping your hips as opposed to grabbing their jumper and swinging them around in a circle. It's different than American football where you just have to get the guy to the ground in any fashion you can. In this, limited between the shoulders and the knees of where you can grab, you've got to consider the player's safety and take them to ground safely and in a manner, so usually that's coached as wrapping and dropping the hips as opposed to looking to fling them or smash into them like American football.
And something that's become a lot more important in the game in the last couple of years as well.
NFL, AFL, everybody's worried about concussions and player safety, head safety, and frankly the fans want to see the stars on the field. They don't want to see them injured, and so the leagues do try to sniff out those dangerous type of tackles.
Science can be a wonderful thing sometimes. That ball hits the behind post, and we'll get a throw in deep inside the Chicago attacking 50. Actually, rather, it'll be ruled out on the full. Thought that may have took a bounce, but it will be free kick for Nashville.
There's 9 again for the Chicago Swans. He's covered quite a bit of ground today. Has been really effective for them in the middle. Fair bit of their play has built up through him as they've gone up on different attack angles, and he makes a point of getting around the ground and getting involved in a bit of all of it.
So Klanger kick results in a shot on goal. Across the face and through for a minor score. That brings Chicago to 1-2-8. Nashville yet to score on the Watch AFL scoreboard.
Nashville's defense holding pretty well. It's most of a bend, don't break scenario here. They've had a fair number of kickouts or free kicks from back in deep in their zone. They've done well enough to get the ball out of danger area. They're tying up the ball here. They'd be happy with that. Look at the pressure they're getting.
High tackle, free kick's gonna go the way of Chicago. 11 minutes into this opening half. Little short kick, looking to the far side wing.
Right idea from Chicago. Change the point of attack. They look to switch the ball a little bit there, a lateral pass first, but it wasn't executed well. Not being able to mark that ball, put that player under the pump, and now you see the result. Ball up instead of clear possession.
Chicago with the tap to the line. Able to keep it in. Now here's Nashville. Little kick by Brennan Feely, doesn't go very far. Intercept mark taken out of the defense for Nashville.
Nashville would be good to just slow the pace a little bit here, find an opening that they like, maybe switch the direction a bit instead of slamming it right back down to where the traffic has been.
Pendergrass kick. And almost marked for Nashville. Couldn't hold on to it. Ball in dispute. Far side half forward. Kicked inside 50. Now the race is on to the line. Holding the ball. Good defense from Chicago to thwart the Nashville opportunity.
He's asking for a push from behind, but in reality, he didn't play quick enough, didn't have enough urgency. That there hasn't been that much free time, that much free space for these players today. I wouldn't say it's just rabid pressure, but there's been pressure almost any time someone picks up a ball. They have not had free run.
So a very low-scoring opening half, but here comes Chicago with a lot of space inside 50. Skyward kick, takes some bounces, and Nashville will take it out of danger. Chance wasted by Chicago there. Proctor had it go off his hands. Able to get the ball away from the Chicago player. William Comstock now back into the corridor. Takes a bounce into the hands of Chicago. Handball over the top. And Chicago will have free reign down the near side wing. Here is Nashville out of defense. Little small kick, only red jumpers around. Incorrect disposal. Nashville will get a free kick.
Yeah, that's the right call there. That absolutely was a throw. Some good desperation from the Chicago defender there.
Kangaroos unable to do anything with that chance. Good defense by the Swans. That ball out of the reach of both those players in the one-on-one. Has a crack for goal from way outside.
Here again, Pat, another opportunity for Nashville. Reset, figure out a structure where they can start to free up a player, where they can collect a mark and get numbers around them so they can start to run and work this ball forward.
Kick dies in the middle of the air. Takes a bounce, and here is Chicago once again. Out of half forward on the far side. Little line drive kick on the outside of the post. Players yelling at him to take their time as it goes out on the full again for the Swans. Low kick. Nashville played it off the body of a Swan. And back again comes Chicago into their 50. Players tumble to the ground. And we're going to get a free kick for Chicago for a high tackle.
For all of Nashville's inability to really link up and any sustained push forward, Chicago at the same time hasn't hit the scoreboard hard enough to really put that pressure on Nashville. They are very much in this game. Even if he converts this as a goal and a score here, you think, gosh, they're not that far behind Nashville. Could be a very, very different tale in the second half.
But instead he sprays it out on the full. So a very low scoring opening half, and a lot of Chicago mistakes.
One of those you wonder, are they going to regret this in about 28 minutes time?
So 8-point ball game, 4 minutes to go in this opening half. That was a lovely mark. Off hands. Andrew Wang from the Cleveland side playing with Nashville this weekend. Umpire balls it up. Punch forward, straight into the hands of a Swan. Clearing kick. Only white jumpers around, but it takes a bounce towards the boundary, and Chicago will take that result.
If I'm Chicago, I'm looking see if we could hit the scoreboard once, twice more yet before the half. To do so, you really want one more lift in intensity, somebody to take the game on their shoulders and say, we have to collect this next possession. We have to apply a tackle if we're not the ones with the football. Give themselves that chance to hit the scoreboard a couple more times. Nashville's thinking, can we run out this second half without any more damage, give themselves a really good shot in the second half with the wind to maybe come back against the Swans here.
Luke Mazzano's kick.
Good to see Proctor back on the field. He just missed picking up that football there, but looks like he was okay. Maybe just had the wind knocked out of him earlier.
Mazzano overran it. Tries to affect the contest. Chicago player taken down. Umpire's whistle stays in his pocket. On the edge of 50. Shot on goal on the run. It's across the face. Chicago now out to 9 points. 2 minutes to go in this opening half. Kicking goes to the edge of the arc. Free kick's going to go the way of Nashville for pushing the back. Now working out a half-back.
There they find.
Able to chain some good marks together, are Nashville.
Yeah, they're able to find Gleichert. They've been fairly effective on that kick boundary-wise off the halfback line. What they've struggled to do is move the ball forward in that chain the next couple of steps. That boundary kick, that second boundary kick gets tough. There's so much traffic. It's hard to make that really effective. It can be a strategy if you then go and tie up the next boundary throw. Here they end up giving up a free kick on the full.
Great effort diving to mark that ball before it touches the ground. Works out for the Kangaroos. Here's Saul Camarena. Dying seconds of this opening half. Under a minute to play. Here's one at the edge of 50. Just overran it was the Kangaroo. Now they rush the ball carrier, but able to get the kick away was Chicago. Friendly bounce for the Swans. Picked up on the run. Little small kick. Bounces to a one-on-one. Turns around, takes the shot. This will take a bounce and then go over the line.
Good example of transition play and what can happen when teams get stretched out. That was the deepest penetration the Roos had in a while into the forward segment of the field for them. But what that does is it stretches out their entire side. Chicago rebounds, actually moves the ball very, very quickly up to forward line, had another shot at goal, off the mark in the end, but just the opening up of the structures on the field because of that transition towards the Roos forward end allowed Chicago to rebound quickly.
And that was the last action of the opening half. So at the end of 20 minutes of play, it's Chicago on the board with 1-3-9. Nashville Kangaroos yet to score. 1-2-8.
We'll double check that score at halftime. In summary, in the first half there, we started to talk about it a little bit. You got to wonder if you're the Swans, did we do enough there with the wind? I think they had the better bit of play, but did they really tighten the clamps on the Roos effectively? Maybe not. Nashville might come off pretty happy with that effort against the wind, saying, okay, we didn't play our best, but we held firm enough to keep the game within reach. 2 straight kicks, and Nashville's at the front.
So setting up for a great second half of play. Columbus was able to mount a comeback earlier that they were unable to finish. This is a lot smaller of a margin for the Kangaroos. 8-point ball game as we go into the break. We'll be back for the second half between Nashville and Chicago on USAFL.com.
This presentation of the USAFL is brought to you by Tasmanian. Quietly pursue the extraordinary. Cooper's. Australian made and owned. Cooper's Beer. Aussie Sports USA, the official apparel provider of the USAFL. Odin Mortgage and Tax, Australian mortgages and taxation for expats and overseas residents. CyberSolve IQ, the inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. Two Hands Restaurant, fueling your lifestyle. Watch AFL, stream every match overseas. Brown Brothers, family winemakers since 1889. HBC Event Services, Premier Sports Medicine, and the members of the USAFL.
Back for the second half between the Chicago Swans and the Nashville Kangaroos. Patrick Machado and Dan Sarback are on the call. It's Chicago 1-3-9 and Nashville yet to score as we start this second half of play.
Yeah, you can tell by the third game of the day, legs are tired, bodies are fatigued. Those players came out really fast from halftime. I think just wanting to get this over with. Don't want to just sit around in the sun any longer. Keys to the second half, I think if I was coach or captain of either of these sides, I would have had the guys in a tight circle saying, who's got anything left in the tank? Who's going to step up and win this game for us? Because the chocolates are sitting right there to be had. Trophy goes home to the winner here. Who wants to dig down and take the game on their shoulders and go win this for us? Takes nothing more than that first hard tackle to get the team fired up and going. We'll wait and see here in the first couple minutes, opening minutes of the second half, who's got that in them.
And to your point, you mentioned that the pace kind of quickens up as you're trying to keep your legs into it. And mental mistakes are the story. Players are telling them to take your time and slow down. That's kind of tough to do when you're in your third game of the day.
Yeah, perceived pressure's there. You know your legs are tired and you're probably a step slower than you were at the start of the day because of that fatigue. And you perceive pressure coming from maybe faster than it was. And so that leads to mistakes.
Camarena had his kick blocked. And this should be out on the full for Chicago. Would have been deliberate or out in the full either way.
Yeah, we talk about mental mistakes. That's probably one right there. He had somebody to help Shepard, could have taken the time to pick up the ball. Even if he was under the pump, he had a handball option. Instead, tries to soccer it off the ground, kicks it out on the full.
So William Proctor will take the kick in and half forward, sends one to the forward pocket, and well marked by James Harden, and he'll have a shot at goal on a really tight angle. He's going to center it up instead. Intercept mark taken by Chicago.
Thought we were going to have the first damage to the scoreboard there for the Nashville side. Instead, tries the centering kick, which I don't disagree with, but he kicked into a 1-on-2, and I think his target was one of the shorter ones of the pack there.
Umpire stops the play. It'll be a free kick for Nashville. Sends one inside the 50. Couldn't take the mark as he was backing up was the Chicago player. Gets a boot to ball. It's on the ground and it's through for a minor score. So Nashville hits the scoreboard. It's 1-3-9 we have confirmed for Chicago. Now one behind for Nashville on the Watch AFL scoreboard. 8-point ball game.
Keep an eye on the players. You'll start to notice this. It takes them longer to get up off the ground after contests, things like that. That's that fatigue setting in. Becomes a mental game at this point. Can you will your body to make that next run, that next tackle, make that next lead to provide options? Otherwise, the structure breaks down, the game gets really stagnant, and the opposition will run over you.
Skyward ball on the edge of the center square. It'll be a low contact going the way of Chicago.
Yeah, diving, sliding below the knees is illegal. That there, an example of that contact below the knees results in a free kick for the Swans.
Boots one forward to a one-on-one. Well spoiled by Nashville. Down. It'll be a downfield free kick.
Kick was away when I think high contact's probably what he called, either that or the sling on the tackle. But ball was away when he did that, so they pay the result as if it was a mark downfield.
So Camarena with the downfield free. Players flooding inside 50. Near side, far side forward pocket is the delivery zone. And it's through for a behind. Now a 7-point ball game. 2 behinds for Nashville. Kick to half back. Well grabbed by Chicago. Taking all of these 6 seconds. Spoiled out from the back. Players in the ball go to ground along the boundary. Picked up by Chicago. Nashville wanted a throw. It goes unpaid. and bounces over the line. It'll be a throw in on the Chicago attacking end of the field.
Again, Pat, I'm waiting to see somebody lift the intensity of this game a little bit with a tackle or a sprinting lead, something to break this open a little bit. Both the sides are a little lethargic. You'd think in a game that's worth hardware, they'd be more keen and more eager. Somebody's just got to dig down and find it somewhere. The coach ought to be screaming about that.
Ball now locked up inside the attacking 50 for Chicago. Their first big chance of this second half. Thumped forward. To disadvantage, Nashville will clear it. Bouncing ball goes from one end of the center square to the other. Handballed by Wang. Gets it back. One-handed corral. Has to spin around. Ball through the wickets of William Proctor. And picked up by Dane Clemens. Now ball in dispute. Wang was surrounded by Chicago players. And umpire will say, I'll have it. And ball it up. 6.5 into this second half. 7-point ball game. Chicago with 9, Nashville with 2.
That was a critical mark there for the Swans. That ball hung in the air a long time. 25 really stood up underneath that with courage, took the grab. Now he's on the run having a bounce. Good play on.
And boots one forward. It's a good kick. And the mark is paid.
This is probably out of his range. He's got to find an option. And
Plays on quickly, had a runner on the lead. Plays on, goes for goal. This one will drift right. Doesn't clear the line, and Nashville will run it out. Thumping drop punt. Takes a bounce backwards. Proctor tracks it down. Hurried kick. Far side wing. Finds a runner. A bounce. A kick to 50. Off hands. Kick on the run on a very sharp angle. And through for another minor score.
An example of that fatigue setting in. That big long kick out of the back for the Kangaroos lands in the center bounce circle with nobody contesting it. Players had plenty of time with that ball in flight, but it's getting harder and harder to run without the football. That's a psychological thing as you fatigue, but you're seeing it. You're seeing it play out here on the field. Both sides pretty fatigued.
1-point ball game from the Dairy Fields in Dublin, Ohio. 8 minutes into this second half. Chicago 1-3-9. Nashville 3 behinds. Now at a halfback. Took all of his time. Plays with a kick very tight up against the boundary. Kept in by number 28. William Comstock with a handball forward. William Proctor tried to run onto it, was taken down. And the free kick will go to him.
Trying to get some movement there in the forward line. A few leads materializing. They're still trying to target those big forwards.
Well defended by Chicago, though they'll have to settle to a congested kick. And this one will be a throw-in. Off the hands of the Nashville player. Desperate defense from Chicago to avoid conceding a goal that would tie this game up.
One straight kick in it at this point. Nashville certainly would want to hit the scoreboard with a major and pull level. Chicago probably desperate to prevent it, but they don't.
Ball spills out. And just enough space to get the kick through.
Pat, you kind of had the feeling that that's maybe what we see. You call a lot of hockey. You see those games where just, games that are locked up and you just get those weird trickle goals. It wasn't necessarily something pretty. That was exactly that right there. Ball just squirts out after a big congested pileup, and somebody soccers it through for Nashville to pull level. Hasn't been a pretty game in that way. You kind of expect that type of goal given the game it's been.
To do the hockeyism, I guess you could say, go to the square and good things happen. Aaron Gardner bangs one home and knots this game up at 9. Halfway through this second half, we are all square.
Some high contact that didn't get called there. Number 21 for the Swans got knocked. Swans able to keep the ball going forward here, though.
And here's a golden chance for Chicago. Ran onto it, dribble kick home, and the Swans nabbed the lead right back.
The best answer for giving up a goal is getting one yourself, and the Swans do it here in short order. Quick reply from the Swannies. Number 9, again, critical, just jumped on that original ruck tap. It spilled loose, but you'd expect him. He's been involved all day in a lot of the Swans scoring opportunities. Swans able to keep the ball going forward. They got some isolation. Were able to run on, and a crafty finish actually to not kick high, but rather low and dribble that across the line, given what the defender was pressuring.
Only one Kangaroo inside the 50. No chance for him to get back. Chicago hit the front once again. It's 2-3-15 to 1-3-9.
35 there. He's got for the Swans, got his tail up, got a sniff, and his intensity lifted there a moment. He had 2 cracks at the ball and a half tackle. See if he can keep the run going.
Comstock's kick goes straight to a Swan. 8 minutes left to play.
Tired legs, a lot of stand-in players are really struggling to open up leads and open up space to kick into.
Players cancel each other out. Chicago with possession, delivers one inside 50. Tapped down by number 50. Chicago, a Nashville player runs onto it, and he turns on the Jets. Taken down, run too far.
Yeah, he had one in the first half. He probably used up his last centimeter of allowance, and that one just a touch too far. Bad time to give it up.
Just got a little too excited. Call we rarely see called. A lot of leeway usually given on that.
14.
But here comes another kick inside 50 for Chicago, marked inside the square. This will be goal number 3.
Yeah, number 14, Holden Thomas there for Nashville. That's a really effective way to rebound with pace. The way he did it, he's got some speed on him. Just ran a little too far, and it ended up costing him in the end. Swans now ready to convert.
The easiest of kicks, slammed home. Chicago is broken free. It's a 2-goal ball game now. 3-3-21 plays 1-3-9 on the Watch AFL scoreboard.
I think that's the second or third goal to number 32 there. Coined him Al McGlashan Jr. for lack of a roster name on him, but great lead, big hands. He just swallowed that ball up on that lead, which was awesome. Took that mark, maybe 20, 25 out from goal. Maybe we'd call it on the edge of 17, and then slots it home. So the Swans, after experiencing a goal against them, said, no, we're not doing that, and have put up 2 themselves.
So ball back up in the air. 6 minutes left to play. Nashville will be going forward. Chicago delivers one inside 50. Bounce stays inside the boundary. Does find the line.
If you're Nashville here, it's not more complicated than trying to build out safely. A little bit of lift of intensity, make sure you pick up the ball first, and if you don't, apply a tackle to tie it up again.
Lovely tap back, but he's immediately wrapped up, and it'll be a ball up.
That's exactly the result we just talked about. So they didn't get first use of the ball, but they tied it up instead. That's a great result. Here they might have a better opportunity to get out.
And gets the clearance away from stoppage. Plemons tapped it to himself. McLean now up that far side wing. 2-on-2 battle. Here's Cody McLean once again. Little handball just inside 50 now. Sprays that one wide. Another behind for the Kangaroos.
Oh, they'd want that one back, but really most everything up to that point was quite good. We talked about that restart back there. They didn't get first possession. They tied it up again until they got a better chance. Then they got first use of the football. Were able to link up through Gleichert in the middle. A couple of handballs. They switched the play, switched the point of attack here to the near side. In the end, only out for a behind. Bad luck there, but actually a really nice sequence from the Roos.
Long kick off that kick in. Picked up by Saul Camarena. Handball out wide. James Harden delivers one into the pocket. Has to run onto it and save it at the line, but ran out of room. And they'll throw it in deep inside the Nashville attacking 50 with 4 minutes to play in this second half.
Nice sequence of handballs, 2-on-1 handballs there. And the Roos were going into 50. The kick let him down a little bit. He kicked into the pocket, probably sprayed it a little off his boot. He'd want that more centering, give themselves a chance.
Little volleyball tap to the line. And we'll do this throw in all over again.
Proctor, as you'd expect, one of the standouts and on the national team list, collecting a fair bit of the football again. He was there, the one carrying it over the line.
Chicago well positioned to play for stoppages here. Nashville needs 2. Handball by Duty. Up into the air, spoiled away from the contest by Chicago.
There's a chance every single player on the field is in the frame at this point. We probably get most of them. The entire fullback line for the Roos is past the midway point of the field, really packing, really pressing in, trying to press and get those goals that they need. They only come one at a time. You got to get the first one first. You can't score 2 at once, but they're putting the bodies forward, trying to make it happen.
Nashville was awarded a free kick. Dane Plemons will go back and have the shot. And it was blocked by the man on the mark. Couldn't elevate it over him, and that's big.
Cardinal sin, kicking into the mark. You have 100% control of how far you back up. Chose not to take the full measure that he needed to clear that. That's a wasted chance.
And time is ticking fast. 2 minutes to go in this second half. And Nashville needs 2 majors.
1 minute per is certainly possible. It's a big ask, but Chicago's probably going to work on tying the ball up as much as possible here. Eats up the clock with these restarts.
Especially with no time on.
It was odd, kind of couldn't tell if there was a third man up or he got him high or what there, but it's going to be a Swans kick.
And they'll use every bit of the allotted time here. 90 seconds. This needs to find a couple marks and the Swans will be home. Skyward kick, they couldn't take one, but Chicago still has possession.
Number 9 showing a bit of desperation to go collect that ball after the non-mark, and he was the one that actually had handball inboard to get him going again, and the Swans still on the build forward.
With 1 minute to go. Ball in dispute inside 50. Chicago player just got the handball away, but the receiver was on his way down. Chicago playing a very good territory game at the moment. Far side forward pocket, under 30 seconds to go. Gets a kick towards goal. And this should be a boundary throw. But the Swans are home. Just a few seconds left in this game. siren goes, and the Chicago Swans defeat the Nashville Kangaroos 3-3-21 to 1-4-10.
Yeah, fun game to watch. We know it's late in the day. Bodies are tired. The athletes are fatigued. But in the end, there's some gutty performances there, despite being worn out at the end of the day and a lot of footy. Swans had to rebound after giving up a goal. We thought, oh, the flow of play. Nashville's got the wind at their back. They get a goal after getting a few behinds. Pulled level. Swans instantly answered, and that ended up being the key to the game. They found another one there to pull a little further ahead, and in the end, they sail home.
And that does it for this matchup. Coming up next on this field will be the Columbus Cats against the DC Eagles. And that's coming up in just a few minutes' time. Myself and Brian Barish will be on the call. This is the USAFL 2024 Super Regionals from Dublin, Ohio at the Dairy Fields.
This presentation of the USAFL is brought to you by Tasmanian. Quietly pursue the extraordinary. Coopers. Australian made and owned. Coopers Beer. Aussie Sports USA, the official apparel provider of the USAFL. Odin Mortgage and Tax, Australian mortgages and taxation for expats and overseas residents. CyberSolve IQ, the inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. Two Hands Restaurant, fueling your lifestyle. Watch AFL, stream every match overseas. Brown Brothers, family winemakers since 1889. HBC Event Services, Premier Sports Medicine, and the members of the USAFL.